Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have more Gamma content for you today, and this time is the Gammas versus Red Zone Mega Shenron. Considering to me, in my opinion, I would consider the Meta Cooler Core Red Zone fight to be more difficult than this one. I was expecting more of the same, and of course, the Gammas did not disappoint. Gonna go straight into it. Gamma 1, again, honestly, he is definitely the better out of the two. Currently on Global is literally sitting probably as Bird Coup number 1 for me. Final form cooler than Gamma 1. By the time El Vegeta and Trunks comes out, the list will just move down one. So instead of sitting in third, Gamma 1 is gonna go to fourth. He is generally that good. Unfortunately though, I must be cursed by Dokkan or something, or they just know it's me or something. And even though I do have a dupe in him, I never see this guy getting additional off. Like, it's not even additional supers. I don't even see just basic additionals come off for him. Which would be good, because he'll do more damage. He'll raise his attack and defense twice if he does get the additional super. But for some reason, he just never wants to get an additional off of me. Ever. And I don't know why. Maybe Dokkan just... Maybe they turned my dupe system off. Maybe they turned my my hidden potential system off. Maybe it just doesn't work. I don't know. All I know is it never happens. But... when it comes to the first phase, of course, as soon as you go into the fight, the main things with the Gammas is, of course, number one, you want them on rotation with each other, which I don't think, did they start on rotation with each other? I actually can't remember. But you want to start building them up, and usually units that need to be built up in Red Zone, you have to be somewhat careful. Nope. In this Red Zone fight, you do not need to be careful, especially with Gamma 1. He is fine. He is fine. Starting with that guard for 4 turns, even before he starts building up, he starts tanking double digits prior to even supering at the start of turn in this phase. And of course, once he supers, it's going to continue more of the same, which is he's going to tank the basics for double digits. I think he got supered though, and he took just over 100k. And I think that was literally, I think he got supered. I actually can't remember. All I know is I've seen him be supered against the Mega. Not sure if it was in this run. And that was the first attack he took. So with guard, no build up, just what he starts with at the start of turn, you're looking at like 160, 180k, which is kind of standard for some of the better units who need to build up to like actually tank. So I'm not really too concerned about that, that's fine. But as I said, double digits on basics prior to even supering with that guard. And also, once his damage reduction and attack and defense is built up, even once the guard has run out, again, prior to even supering, he's tanking double digits. Of course, after he supers, more of the same. He didn't take a super attack like after that, after he loses his guard, but I can still imagine with the one dupe, 50% damage reduction, the attack and defense built up, and supering, he'd probably still tank a super really, really well off a Mega, like really, really well. Probably like 100k or less, I reckon. Maybe a little bit more, but considering how much health this team has, or how much health teams can have depending on dupes and that, you're looking at like just under 600k or above. It won't be enough to kill. That's all I know for certain. You literally will be nowhere near dying if Gamma 1 was to take a super attack in some of the later phases. I think he'd maybe even be able to survive a Mega's KO super with maybe one Whis active. That may be pushing it, but with the full damage reduction, him supering, and the full attack and defense build up with one Whis, I reckon he may be able to tank it. I could be wrong, but I think maybe he would be able to. I think especially if he got an additional super off and raised his attack and defense twice with a Whis, he'd definitely be able to do it. With one, maybe, I'm not too sure. But yeah, Gamma 1 here, he's safe. There's no risk in building him up whatsoever. There's never any danger in building him up. Yes, you could take some extra damage along the way, like the 100k that he took at the start of turn. But I said that in the grand scheme of things of how much HP you have, and kind of what the top tier units take here, it's kind of standard. So yeah, there's no real danger in building him up. I would say the only annoying thing, but it doesn't even end up being a problem, because again, he's tanking double digits even before he supers without the guard and has the full damage reduction build up, is you never really get a chance to fully utilize his guard against a Mega. But at the same time, you kind of are utilizing it, if that makes sense, which I know it probably doesn't. You know, you're using the guard to build up his passive, which obviously creates the fact that you have no danger in building him up. But when you would rather have the guard when a Mega starts doing more damage, of course, by that point, he's fully built up, but you no longer have the guard. So I think that's the only kind of annoying part, but at the same time, it does have the use in the fact that it's helping him literally take no damage while building him up with no danger. So it's kind of not fully utilized, but at the same time it is, if that makes sense, or it is being utilized, just not fully utilized. But it doesn't really ever become an issue, but it would be nice, especially for like, you know, harder red zone fights like Cooler Core, which to be fair, even there he didn't struggle, or like Broly. But still, we know he's got the 4-turn limit, ends up helping him building him up with no danger. And yeah, he just kind of is smooth sailing for him during this. The same can kind of be said for Gamma too, I'm not going to lie. Of course, he has all the built-in additionals, you know, for 4 turns, which helps him build up a lot quicker. So yeah, literally by the latest, he's going to be built up of probably his first attack in on the 2nd turn he appears, so on turn 3. And yeah, he's good to go. And of course, you've still got like an extra 2 turns of him popping off additionals, which means you're doing good damage. He's constantly doing decent amount of damage to, you know, Omega Shenron's health bar. Also, he's got crit chance build up as well, so a lot of the times he has like a 50% chance, or is it medium chance? I can't remember if there's a medium chance or a 50% chance, but either way, he has a built-in crit chance, which means, you know, a lot of the time during those full turns, he's hitting like 3 additionals, he's hitting like potentially 3-4 super attacks in 1 turn, where he may actually crit Omega. Like, he's fully built up, and he has like an extra 2 turns of keeping those additionals, which means, as I said, the amount of damage he's actually doing to Omega and kind of any enemy, he's putting out some very good numbers while actually dealing a lot of raw damage to the enemy's health bar, especially if he's critting a lot of the time as well. So that's very nice at getting through some of the phases a bit quicker. And then even once he loses all the additionals, I mean, he still keeps an additional in there, but even after losing like the 2 built-in additionals, he's still doing good damage. The fact he can additional and, you know, has the crit chance means he's still doing very good damage, even at 55% to the enemy's health bar, which of course is very useful for red zone. Yes, Gamma 1's defense and how good he is, and just in general, good tanky units are very, very valuable in red zone. I've said this for ages. Obviously, you need to survive red zone, but on the other hand, kind of attack and offense is just as valuable. I said this for the year 7 LRs. Because they do so much damage, because they can attack 2-3 times in a turn, especially if you get enough ki and there's dupes, you know, and they're hitting crits, and they can stack, and they massively raise attack and defense once they fuse and transform. The amount of damage they do to red zone bosses, and Gamma 2 kind of is within kind of that circle as well, kind of that group as well, where because he can do such decent damage in 1 turn, again, especially if you have a dupe and he hits another additional and you can crit on that super attack as well, you need those damage dealers to get you in and out the fight as quick as possible, because as long as you stay in there, or the longer you stay in there, the more chance you potentially may die, and of course run out of items, which obviously leads to even more chance to potentially dying and, you know, you losing your run. So yeah, that's literally the perfect thing with Gamma 1 and 2, is Gamma's the defensive one. He tanks so well. Fortunately, you can't utilize his dodge here because of course Broly and Omega you can't dodge against. And then Gamma 2's dealing out the damage and doing good damage at that. And of course, the best thing is they have 6 out of 7 links, so they're popping off together. It would have been nice to get a dupe in Gamma 2, but I'll definitely take a dupe in Gamma 1, especially dealing good damage the way he does while being how good he is defensively. Helps out a lot. Yeah, even at 55%, Gamma 2's doing a whole bunch of good damage and getting you through the fight a lot quicker than, of course, if he wasn't so heavily offensively focused. And then not only that as well, he doesn't actually do this, but considering you can't dodge and you can't counter Omega, there is of course the possibility to nullify against Omega, which is very handy. Again, he doesn't do it, and as you saw there, after Gamma 2 supers, I mean, he did get an additional, but even only on 1 super, he tanks Omega's basics throughout the entire fight for double digits anyway, which is great. He's never really in any trouble. He'll probably take a decent amount of damage on a super, and I think I have seen him take a decent amount of damage on a super against Omega, like 200k. Again, that is quite a bit, but never really any risk of you dying. But of course, as I said, you do have it up your sleeve of he can, of course, nullify. I'm not entirely sure if Omega does the Ki Blast supers. I'm pretty sure he does. But in general, it's useful to have that, because of course it means he can potentially take a chunk of damage, even though you may not be any real danger from it, to obviously complete 0. And I think he may be able to do that with a KO super as well, which you're taking a chance to do it, but it means a KO super that would of course KO you does nothing and you survive, which is great to have. But yeah, they've done amazingly well here. They are ridiculously good. I love using them. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace.